Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Mobius Front 83, where we're starting today with what looks like, if not the most difficult, then certainly at least the most complex puzzle that we've had to solve yet. I'm not 100% sure how I even want to approach this. So obviously, the signal coming in from the antenna here, I'm assuming is what that is, contains all of the pieces that we need for output. But to, separate and amplify and do all the splitting just off of the antenna signal, I bet we don't have enough room to produce all this stuff. So, what would it be? We would want to... But if we do something like this... Wow, this is probably right. If we do something like this, and then we... amplify and carve off the sides. So this always produces a weak version of the signal center channel alongside everything else. Right, that's a solution right there. This top one, I imagine, is not going to be an issue. This is the trivial part. And then we have It's going to be easier to wring the sides out of this than the top of the bun. I'm wondering if maybe it ends up being something like this. We put this guy in here. We move both of the side outputs down to the bottom, and then because it's easier to pull the top and bottom channels, we use this thing to make a small solution totally encompassed in this space. I mean, that's probably not sensible. If I want to use this that way, then I just set these like this, right? We make a small solution here, and then that gives this thing lots of room. Yeah, let's see if we can get these two together. So, is there an easier way to get rid of this middle channel than doing this? Because this is pretty expensive in terms of space. And we can do the same thing over here where we amplify it and then weaken it again. Is there a tool that just cuts the strength? I don't think there is, right? There's no the opposite of the amplifier. The dampener, I suppose. So yeah, you end up doing some kind of split. No matter how you do it, if you want to lose signal strength. So, what do the space constraints of this look like? If we end up trying to do something like this, so we end up with this garbage. I guess actually I don't need to do that. Sorry, this totally works. So we just have dead signal running out the side there. Right, this totally works for these three solutions, but it takes up a huge amount of space. And then we route this guy in. Yeah. Okay. How much space do we need to do the thing that we gotta do over here? Because we need to pull... We definitely have to split it. We have to amplify it. Then split it, then pull the top and bottom channels, and then do some left and right. Yeah, this is not going to work. In theory, this solution does produce the outputs, but it takes up so much space. Let's take it back to the drawing board. So what we're running into here is an issue where the very small amount of space we have to work in means that we can't have any parts of our solution only doing one thing. We probably don't have room for the inefficiency of let's do a split and have one of the ends just terminate in nothing. We need to make better use of our pieces. Each thing must fulfill more tasks. So let's talk about producing these. Let's try to figure out what is the right way to produce these. Because my initial feeling is something like this, right? This is how you kind of start it intellectually, and then you got to figure out how to break off the sides. And like this sucks, right? Like this does it. But look at the amount of space that takes up. You can't run that twice and then also have room for anything else to happen in the puzzle. This one's more challenging for sure. If we... So let's see, if we union these two, we get this pretty strong shape, right? Where after the split, it's definitely very conducive to our outputs. And then it's just about, like, amplifying and splitting it appropriately. Because if we do something like this... center channel amp, top channel amp, and bottom channel amp all are very obvious, right? And then there's the question of producing these, which requires only a single left-right split. No, that's probably not true, because we have to lose this guy. But if we... Okay, how about this? It's probably most efficient to try to make a shape that doesn't have the 5 pixel, and then do the splits. How doable is that? How sensible is that? Let's say... actually, hold on, these are backwards. Let's say we do something like this, and then just reunion them immediately. A lot of our solutions are right here, and then this guy just gets middle channeled. Let's move this whole thing up. I think we might be able to make something out of this. This feels a little silly, but it does produce all of the parts that we need. We're just not gonna have enough space, right? Because it's really easy to run top channel and bottom channel, and then I'm wondering about maybe so we have these right here. Maybe we find a way to find time to split these off. And of course, when I talk about time, I'm really talking about space. They're all dimensions. It's all the same, man. I read Dr. Green's book. So if we give ourselves a little bit of room... So the thing is, we want to pull these two out to run to the answers, to run to their respective solution spaces. But then we also need to have room to build the thing that we're going to carve these two pieces out of. So it's like... we want to amp this, then split it, then amp it again. And then we need to... so we need a strong version of this for this output, and then we also need a strong version of this to build the box that we top and bottom channel to get this. So unfortunately, it just takes up a huge amount of space, right? You end up doing something like this, and then you gotta cut these together, and we don't quite have the room for what we need to do. Yeah, it's still too inefficient. We're spending too many instructions building pieces, but I think we're closer to a workable design this way than we were the other way. I really dig the way that the limited space constraints in this design turn the problem of overcomplication, like the problem of logical overcomplication of the process into a spatial issue. That, like, you have to come up with an elegant solution because you physically don't have room for non-elegant solutions. It really does transform the issue of processor cycle time into a spatial puzzle. This is a huge part of what I love about Zachtronics puzzle games right here. So see, like, this is wasteful. This is wasteful, though. This whole part up here, where I'm building this whole box just to pull one piece out of it, we have to make better use of this. So if because we already have the box we need. This is the thing we want to top and bottom channel. If we top channel, bottom channel, that's not even the right thing. And then here, middle channel, that's a bunch of our solutions right there. And then the issue is that we also need to do a left-right somewhere. So if we move these over a little bit, we do another split off, pull the left-right, there we go. Right, sorry. Need an amplify in here. There it is. These are in the wrong order now, but this is right. So we need you here and you here. Okay. We got there eventually. And it looks like that's approximately the solution everybody else figured out. You can tell these guys aren't happy. We have airborne operations coming in up north. Concerning. Someone may have miscalculated. Yeah, I mean, why would you expect that we would be happy? How was that ever a part of the calculation? I'm pretty happy with this solution overall. And it does, like, in terms of instruction set, it does just barely fit. That's fun. Those are real fun. Alright, let's break through and recapture the K.I. Sawyer Air Base here. Wisconsin, just outside the UP border. Okay, so they get to go heavy right away. We get to match them numerically, but we got a little bit of a time issue. So, we have a couple of these dudes, which are pretty good. Not as tough as a real tank, but pretty good. So it's 6 range on the ATGM? Yeah, 4 of those at range 6. So it feels like... yeah, somewhere around here, like, this is pretty good, right? It can see this control point. We definitely want to do a setup. This control point can't be seen by anything that's any further left. I think this is exactly where we want to set one of these things up. Obviously, the downside of being right here is that it means things can approach this way, use this as cover, and then get inside of normal firing range. But the way the trees are set up, we don't really have a lot of options there. I suppose this tile is pretty solid, too. Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll deploy for that. We may as well start these guys right here, because this thing has 3 move, right? Has 4 move, in fact. So it will get there next turn. No problem. Alright, what else do we want? Maybe we probably want another Sheridan. Like, almost certainly, right? I do not have a good sense of where I want to set that one up. And of course we have a lot of... boy, there's a lot of angles for things to approach from. We're definitely going to want an Iroquois. I think we may play the Iroquois, like, here. Just take over these trees. That'll give us good vision on anything trying to sneak up around here. Because an anti-tank vehicle in this space is definitely vulnerable to approach from the north on account of that forest. That'll help a lot. And we definitely want another Sheridan, and then from there the question is just like, what do we do with the other 2 points? Because what we do with the other 2 points is going to affect our positioning somewhat, right? We don't have access to a Jeep that can move and fire, but we do have access to a VADS. Which is fine. Yeah, the other 2 points might just be 2 of these. I think it's possible that that's the right play. And if that's the case, I don't exactly know where we put these. We probably want to put them pretty far forward, actually. But we're going to have to deal with enemy infantry. Alright. I do think a mortar team would be nice. The limited... never mind. The limited ammo makes it really hard to justify those dudes. Let's get the other Sheridan in. We'll just put it as far forward here as possible. I don't think it makes any sense to try to approach from the north or anything. And then... like a VADS and a utility truck, or just 2? It's probably just 2 of these. We don't really need an observation helicopter because we have the Iroquois. I am just going to bring in 2 of these, and I don't think we're going to split off. We're not going to get fancy with it. Let's see if this works. Alright, you need to land. We'll set the ATGM team up here, but they're, I mean, obviously... you're going to be in some pretty dangerous ground no matter how we do this. I think I'm actually going to deploy these guys forward. So, okay, you move to here. You'll be the setup guy. Yeah. That seems like a pretty valuable spot. You two just approach as best you can. You cap the point. It's possible that we're going to be in for like a pretty rude surprise here. We don't really have any idea what their force composition is going to look like. Alright, you guys just do your best to make it over to cover before you get murdered. Definitely want to do this. You are not moving again, probably. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have these guys get off. These guys just jump onto that one. And I don't actually want this thing to be this far forward, probably, like in any sort of long-term sense, but I think as a way of just dropping off units, this makes a lot of sense. And you guys just... you have to be pretty careful. I don't want to put them in a position where they're too easy to blow up. Like enemy tanks coming through the thing here. It'll be really helpful to have a ground unit in that space, to have an infantry unit in that space. I'm going to maybe play it a little bit carefully with these guys for the moment. I guess we can use the helicopter. Probably it's pretty safe to come over here and get us a lot of vision. Okay, so we have one of these guys. It's mostly gun trucks. There's a lot of infantry and very little else. We did see some larger vehicles over there, but it looks like it's pretty safe to have these guys like really move up. And you are just going to stay put for the moment. Although it looks like if we do have you stay put for the moment, you're sort of lording over terrain that's not maybe even going to be an issue. Nah, it's fine. It's fine. We don't need to play aggressively. We need to play defensively. We want them to have to come to us because we are about to get reinforced. And if they're going to play aggressively, it bodes very well for us. Okay, that's a real tank. We gotta be careful about that. Blinding a helicopter pilot seems like a move that could have some serious consequences. Alright. Are you allowed to... I'm pretty sure the answer is no. I'm gonna... They have a lot of mortars. That's unfortunate. Okay, you guys just do this. Pretty solid. I'm debating which tile I want to let these dudes off into. The thing is, the fact that the mortar teams have direct fire on us doesn't actually matter because they're already going to be, unless I can kill all of the trucks this turn, they're already going to be able to see me. So it's one real tank and one of these things. How do I want to manage this? I mean, we're definitely doing one of the big things here. I think we're just going to shoot this guy with that. We got some very efficient kills there in terms of resources to points lost by the opponent. And then I guess we move you up like this. That's a shame. Where do I want you to end up? It's a shame this space has guys in it. I wasn't really thinking ahead about where I wanted the Sheridan to end up, but I do want the Sheridan to shoot this guy, and I also want the Sheridan to be like in one of these two spaces for maximum. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I will back it up to here and just finish the truck off. That's fine. And we can afford to play a pretty slow game. They're going to kill a lot of our infantry with mortars, and there's not a huge amount that we can do about that, but also we don't really need to do a huge amount about that. So let's see. You will definitely be able to move up and shoot my helicopter if I stop here. But if I stop here, it does threaten this thing. Can you? No, you cannot shoot me there. I mean, who cares? Who cares about threatening that thing? It's not like making myself a danger to that is going to actually affect anything meaningful. It'll just unload its cargo and run away. It's probably going to do that anyway. You have 3 move and 3 range. So I think I'm going to move the helicopter to here. Pretty sure I'm totally safe there, but it still provides maximum vision. And then the question is, do we run these guys forward? I think I'm going to go this way. And you dudes just stay put, be set up. You're probably going to get killed by mortars, but, you know, what am I going to do about it? Yeah, so the truck just did what it would have done even if I had moved in on it. I'm a little surprised by some of the decision making here. Jesus. Did they have... I thought they had 20 points. This is 12 points worth of tanks. Yeah, this might just be 8 points worth of stuff. Alright, well, it's going to be a challenge to keep us alive, that's for damn sure. You're probably dead either way. I'm going to move you to here, though. You're probably dead to mortar fire. Probably it's unlikely this matters. You get to do this. Hooray! You're not going to kill him, but you're going to soften him up. If I move this guy to here, he has 6 tiles to there, and he still has a pretty clean shot out to there. Enemy tank gets to move in 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I like that. I think this is a very strong defensible position. And the question is, how much do we want to expose this dude? Can move to here, where I wish I had ended the previous turn, and potentially heat round that thing to death without exposing myself to that guy. And then we just sort of incidentally make a lot of their mortars irrelevant by not having enough infantry for it to matter very much. So obviously moving to here and trying to blow this thing up has the downside of making me quite vulnerable to these tanks. Like if you move to here, yeah, you are allowed to shoot there. Once again, sometimes you can shoot along the border of a wooded hex and sometimes you can't, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of rhyme or reason. It's just sort of the way of things. And I want to set up in a position where I am a real danger. And I don't want to give this guy standing fire against me because he could actually do damage. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Neither of these spaces are actually within range for those tanks. Maybe I just do this and roll the dice, I guess. It's not the way I want to be doing things, but I do think it's the way I am going to be doing things. He can take his shot, and we'll just hope. I'm living on hope. That seems like a bad idea. He gets 1 though, and worth noting, if he takes that shot, he almost certainly he's putting himself in a real rough position in terms of our infantry. You should definitely move. And I don't love that I have, like, I have probably pretty limited locations available where I can keep vision of everybody. So after these guys die to mortar fire, we're going to lose some visibility. I don't actually know how line of sight works for infantry. Like exactly what we'll be able to see back here from these dudes, but hopefully it's good enough. So maybe we... If I can convince this tank to chase you, that's probably actually an okay thing. I'm gonna just fall back to here. Okay, we keep reasonable vision for the moment. And you just need to be in a place where you're going to be annoying to the enemy infantry. Mostly, like, this is the only infantry unit we actually care about. And it looks like it's pretty set on not moving up on us. We don't want to let an anti-armor team move adjacent. I might actually move down here to menace those guys. Nah, probably not. Honestly, we might just stay put. Or, like, come around just a little bit to maybe bait the tanks forward. But it looks like maybe they don't have any helicopters. I think my read of this situation is I don't think they took any helicopters. I think they went way deep on tanks, which, again, is correct. That just feels like the right move. I'm a little surprised they didn't open with the mortar fire so that this guy could move into that space. Yep, rolled max damage, of course. There was no doubt. Okay, so this is interesting. How do we want to do this? I mean, I guess you're just going to die no matter what we do, so we may as well use you in a way that is valuable. And then could gun down this thing pretty easily. Had pretty decent odds on that. You are also probably dead. Can you take that tank first? You sure can. Well done. Alright. Man's doing a fine job of holding people at bay. So we haven't actually damaged a single enemy tank. Now these guys, if they choose to set up, they're not actually a threat to us because these two can roll forward into kill position. And we, even at minimum damage, we have them for sure. So I'm not too stressed about that. I do wonder... Is our reinforcement grab just a bunch of Sheridans? Just like make it very, very difficult for their tanks to advance? Because they have so many real tanks that we're probably going to need multiple Sheridan shots against each of them. Just in order to get the job done. And the question is, do we take a third? Because we don't get helicopters. Or we don't get, you know, the useful helicopters. We could, I suppose, take 3 of these to hold the positions we have these Sheridans in, and then use these ones to push forward on the tanks. Feels bad, but maybe right, because we don't actually have a lot of other anti-tank options. I do hate these setup vehicles. Honestly, it's probably just another one of these, and then one of those. And this doesn't leave us with a ton of infantry, but I think that's a strength of it as a strategy more than a weakness. You guys press forward and just threaten. Yeah. I didn't want to move the helicopter forward, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being too cautious with it. Okay, so now we gotta commit. Obviously, these guys gotta roll forward and blast the anti-tank team. This is almost certainly not going to be a kill. Oof. Not just not a kill, but of course, a very low roll. A roll below the midpoint of what you would expect. So the heat round only has a range of 2. You can't actually heat round this guy from any space you can reach. I'm debating how early it makes sense to deploy the tanks. You guys are dead no matter what, you may as well just fire. You guys at least can get out of enemy line of sight and potentially come around and try to do a little bit of damage to the tanks, but honestly, odds of getting anything valuable done are close to 0. Okay, well we definitely want to close at least one of you to this position. And then where do you go? I guess here's good. We'll disengage some more dudes at the beginning of next turn. This is going to be ugly, though. They're going to do a lot of damage to us. Interesting. I don't think they should be able to... Now they should have vision of us, but they shouldn't have had vision of us before that moment. Okay, he's going to finish the job. And of course, it is going to be trivial for them to finish the job as much as they want, really. The only thing these guys are good for is running at enemy tanks. As sad as that lot in life is. Okay, that was very lucky. So, we don't care about the mortar teams. Is this where I want you? Yeah, I think so. You're in good setup position. So we can just kill these guys, right? Your mortars and your mortars, we don't care about you. But we have enough move and shoot units that we can put 3 of them around this guy and just kill him. So let's do that. And then you just disembark. Okay, because those are the only things they have left that are actually very dangerous to us. And then these guys are strongly disincentivized from coming forward, and we can start creeping up. Now that there are fewer tanks on this side, you can push up and get me real vision again. Yeah, feels pretty solid. Do I want to run my rifle team back? What's the range on your thing? 4? Yeah, I guess I'll do this, and we'll see if we can lead some of them in a little bit of a chase. Okay, yep, those guys are dead. There's not really anything that can be done about that, and frankly, they don't matter, so... Okay, he's committing. Oof, that sucks. Alright, you actually get to fire. Pretty good news there. You also actually get to fire. Wild that you actually got to shoot both of your ammo. That's very unusual. And, was that max damage? No, your max damage is 6, but that was real good. And then we get 2 of these guys that we can just move up and take a couple of heat rounds. All we need to do is roll a 3 with one of them. Okay, mission's over. So... none of these guys... Can any of these dudes hit helicopters at all? I don't think so, right? Nope. Alright, so we just move the helicopter over to, like, here or here. All we want to do is make it so this guy can't safely move to that space, right? Does it matter? I guess this is slightly better. We would rather have him have to go this way than be safe here. And then you guys should just pick out the enemy... boy. Are there any enemy bazooka teams left? I guess there's these guys, right? The fast-moving ones. We don't have a kill on those guys, do we? Because, yeah, we can't reach them with this stuff. And they cannot move and fire their weapon, their anti-tank weapons. So, let's just have a bunch of people roll around the corner here. We'll open fire on some dudes. Do we care about any of these in particular? Not really. I guess I'll roll this team around this way so as to better threaten those. And you guys can keep creeping forward, but honestly, you're dead. There's so much mortar fire, I don't think I can save you. I kind of can't believe we had an anti-armor team actually get to fire both of its shots, and they were both like super meaningful, and then it survives even beyond that. Okay, so you guys are pretty important to kill. Let's make sure we're doing that. Roll you up. And then these guys just laid right down, sort of in the middle of the road. Okay, so this is the only unit left that can even damage vehicles. So I guess let's just have you take this shot. I don't know what to do with you. I guess just put you on here for the turn, and I don't know. just do whatever. We're not after a TIS 330 on this mission or anything, so there really is nothing to this except just drive forward. And those mortar teams are going to spitefully murder as many of our inconsequential infantry as they can. Look, we're trying. I'm trying to save him. Alright, unfortunately, even though they have absolutely lost, and there's no way that could not be the case, we do have to spend another 2 or so turns just moving into position here. Yeah, shoot him. I really think that they made a good change with the helicopters. The helicopters being able to fire in the air is very useful. It makes them way more impactful, which is good. I think anything that makes any non-tank unit more impactful is probably a good thing for the design. Aha, you failed to even kill all of my inconsequential infantry. You total failures.
Fuck, my legs are fucking killing me. I always thought you were tall for a tanker.
You can always get out and walk.
I'm fine. I could deal with it.
You better, because we aren't close to finish here. We're the fucking 82nd, tip of the spear. Hell yeah.
Weird little story sequences. I guess that one's mostly just about, like, establishing their enthusiasm. Find and destroy the remaining SAM units. There is a TIS 330 in this one, and the chapters are not all equal in length. Which is interesting. I wonder how much game there is left. So, okay, they had 1010, we have 1010. But there's no necessarily saying that they don't have emplacements and stuff, right? Like they could have those machine guns. So we do have some of these things, which I don't care for very much. But it does imply the existence of a lot of enemy what do you call it? A lot of enemy helicopters, right? So here's the thing I don't know. If we fail the mission but kill the TIS-330 team, I wonder if it unlocks the puzzle. I would expect that it wouldn't. Let's go ahead and deploy you here. Not wild about the Sheridans, but if you're gonna fight an enemy tank, you don't really have a lot of other options. Unless they, for some reason, allow you to actually ATGM them. Which they shouldn't, but sometimes. So the question is, 3rd Sheridan versus, like, APC. Plus, probably not a mortar carrier, because I have a hard time caring about enemy infantry. Like, only very small numbers of enemy infantry, like, even can possibly matter. So it's probably, like, Sheridan versus APC plus VADS, and then either way we have 1 point left over, which is probably another VADS. That doesn't leave us... The Sheridan plan doesn't leave us with a lot of feet, and you definitely want some support infantry. Well, you often. I shouldn't say definitely. There are certainly some situations where they're not meaningful. But I think we're gonna run it like this. Let's try it like this for the first time. They get reinforcements in 5, we get reinforcements in 5, and given that they're going to have setup time around the areas they need to defend, I don't actually think it's very valuable for us to play aggressively here. Like, to the point where I'm kind of wondering if the right move is something like set up the Sheridan here and then just sit here for 4 turns until our reinforcements come in and then move forward as a big group. We can use the VADS for scouting a little bit, because it's definitely a good idea to have some vision. Actually, I'm gonna set this one up down here. Now, they should probably be set up together, though, right? Because we have no reason to think that, like, one Sheridan by itself gets blown up potentially by a single heat round, or more likely by 2 enemy tanks moving in and heating in unison. So I am going to set up here, and this guy's maybe going to get relocated, so I think that might be a good idea. But it just doesn't seem to me that there's a lot of value in pushing forward, unless I think the enemy is going to take over all of these strategically valuable positions. But I think what we're going to do is move this APC forward, fan out infantry through the trees to get a little bit more vision. Okay. I will move up to here to be a threat to that, I guess. I'm gonna leave you exactly where you are, but I think I'm gonna disengage your dudes. Yeah, I'm a little unsure if this is the right way to go about this. Okay, so they have a bunch of those light tanks, they have some of those anti-tank vehicles, they have a howitzer, which means that no infantry is going to be valuable under any circumstances on this map. You definitely can't be here. Maybe I, like, move this guy forward to there. Right now, if you move forward at full speed, yeah, these things move at 4. So he can heat round me, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can never be... His move plus heat round is longer than my maximum range, so I can't hold him off in that way. So I am definitely going to have these guys jump out. And we are going to have to hope that the enemy finds themselves unable to pull the 4 damage on the heat round, basically. Yeah, given that we have there's no concept of Overwatch or anything here, that is actually all we can do. Just hope that they roll poorly. Wow. But of course they never do. you continue to approach. If I put out the anti-tank crew directly here, they just get killed by gun plus howitzer. There's no sense in doing that. I'll put them here, I think. Yeah. And unfortunately, we lost a vehicle at 0 cost to them. There's not a lot we can do about that, unfortunately. So if I move you forward to here, you probably draw howitzer fire. Yeah, it's still this guy just drives up adjacent and kills you. It doesn't actually help to do that. So unfortunately, we just have the same things available as reinforcements. What can see this? Okay, so if there's an anti-tank vehicle here, it is not safe to move these guys up to support my existing infantry. And unfortunately, I just don't... That's not a chance we can really take. Okay. Vision is good. So it turns out there was a thing there. That's not a smart play. You can see all the way to here, so we can't move forward again, at least not until we have overwhelming numbers. Yep, and there's no way for you to be a threat to anybody without being visible to this dude. Okay, if I move you to here, then you get to move to here and do some damage to the truck. That's good, at least. And do I want to leave you right here so that it's not safe for that thing to advance? Maybe. Alright, well, we definitely want to pull another Sheridan in. I don't think there's any question about that. It's trickier to use a second one over here, but without a second one over here, this guy is just free lunch for anybody who wants to run forward and roll the 4, and you know how that goes for them. So then if we were going to reinforce up here anymore... I mean, this will be the time when the helicopters start coming in, right? We have to expect that they will bring helicopters now. So we probably want to forward deploy more of these. I think that the Chaparral is almost certainly wrong. And the question is... what do we do? Like, how do we distribute these last 4 points? Do we actually want a 5th Sheridan so that we can try to just budge one of these points by rolling enough anti-tank weaponry through? I think the answer ends up being yeah. I think that is right. We just like really, really slam in, and then the VADs to help fight helicopters. Try and make it more awkward for them to employ the helicopters against us. You stay put. If you move forward and they do end up driving, I guess I'm gonna do this. We're gonna bait them forward, because the odds of this guy getting anything actual done are basically 0. But we might be able to bait the enemies into a bad move in order to counter, and then at least take some points off of them. And I think we pass. Okay. Definitely some interesting commitments on their part. And I should emphasize some hugely incorrect play. So, absolutely just set up. You're probably dead, but, be a threat. And then... how do we want to push the choke points here? Because we do. So few of these teams matter that I think probably you guys just do damage here. So make that guy easy to kill. Can we get a second... Here, get off. I need to be able to see what my actual attack ranges are. No, we cannot get a second person because the Sheridan has such low range on its heat missile. We can't get a second person in position to support this. So if I move forward to fire, I am rolling, like, I have to roll the 4. And that's not really how it goes for me. That's not usually the direction the player weapons work in. Can you... No, you can't get anywhere near close enough either. Alright, so you can roll forward to, like, here and potentially disembark that guy in a more useful spot. I have the advantage of being able to go here before they're really able to take advantage of that. I think we do just shoot here, and of course we don't get the kill. Which means that you now have to do this or you just die. You probably just die anyway, but we can at least make them have to move. And then you can move forward to here at least, and you have to try to go toward the helicopter. Next turn, we may execute a move where both of these guys move up to here, and then we can try pushing on them through there. And I don't know what to do with you, man. Yeah, I guess I'll do this. That puts him in a position where he can maybe do something. It really is a shame that there's so little instrument-guided firing. I think that would help a lot with infantry. That would help a lot in terms of making infantry feel more useful. If the line of sight that they gave you actually allowed you to fire weapons. I'm assuming the helicopter will finish the anti-tank team off. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, just move everything out of the way. That shot does not work. Okay, so you guys die. That's a huge win for us. So they have to fall back. I mean, this is pretty good. Do I walk forward into that? Well, I think we have to make that aggressive move now, whether we want to or not. We get their attack helicopter, which is huge. That's a big loss for them. And how do we want to address this stuff? I'm gonna have these guys get off here, move you to there, and you to there, maybe? You do make it really hard for them to approach again. I might just creep forward the one space I'm allowed to creep forward here. Or, like, what if I move to there? Then I'm a danger to... yeah, okay. I see no reason to move forward quickly, is the thing. Put you up on here for the moment. You'll disembark again later. It'll be fine. See if we can bait them into some bad moves, maybe, by putting units in places where they could be in danger. This is a problem. This, like, huge mass of metal, and there's not, like, anything we can do about it at the moment. The bottleneck is definitely going to be theirs. They can push through in a very effective way here. Owing largely to the fact that that helicopter was able to do so much damage to us. And of course it did roll maximum damage with its move and fire missile. Interesting, so they're just not going to push. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I think that's the wrong play. Okay, so the situation is this right now. So we definitely need to apply pressure up top, but moving these guys in very careful ways. But that's tough, man. The fact that all of our weapons require a turn of setup, and not literal setup, but you know, like having to move into place a turn before you can fire anything is still setup. The fact that all of our weapons require setup means that we effectively can't push forward, and the Sheridan having a dramatically shorter range for the moving heat round than normal tanks do is like it's a very serious cost. What do we do with the VADs? Because we can't move it anywhere where it can be shot by this thing. Oh, I guess... Sorry, we have tanks. Right, I don't have to... That guy's not a real threat. Which means this thing can come up here, I guess? You can move forward. What do I want to do with you? I guess move you to here. It doesn't really matter. I mean, so much of my infantry is, like, ornamental, right? So... Cannot really move any further than this. But I can do this, for the moment. They're going to move this guy forward to here, and then we're going to have to react to that, but we absolutely can. It's not a big deal. And then you... Yeah, it's very dangerous for you to move at all. And again, they can rush the bottleneck, and they can win there. It is possible that they could rush it and just get bad lucked enough that it would really screw them. But that's not what's going to happen. If they push, they'll get it. We know that. This is a smart move for making it harder for me to get the surround. That's a move that probably makes it so I actually do have to fall back, whereas I would not otherwise. You're just never going to be useful, unfortunately. Alright, I'm gonna disembark you guys. Man, here's the thing. If we go for this and we roll the 2, then we kill them at no cost. If we go for this and we roll the 1, then I have to pull the Sheridans back and we just lose, because we can't move anything into either of these spaces. Alternatively, we just push through to like here and here. We just hit this thing 3 times with heat shots. I think we have to break it, right? It's on us to break it. Oh, right, except my cannon range is cartoonishly short, so I can't move through because they have... Yep, never mind. Yep, so... That means that... Fingers crossed there, but no such luck. Okay, but hold on, we can do this, and then... Okay, just get lucky enough, that's fine. But if that hadn't worked out, we had machine gun fire for... We would have been okay. Then, we know that there's a guy here. Let's do this and this. You guys don't really get to do anything. So they're going to move this anti-armor team to here, and then we're just going to kill them. Oh, no, sorry, they're going to move them to here, and then we're going to have to back off. That's how that's going to go. And there's nowhere that I can move up to that I'm allowed to shoot at them. But we do get to shoot right now. Yeah, actually, never mind. We have enough damage that when they move up here, we do just kill them. So actually, nothing changes over here except they lose dudes. Inconsequential dudes, but still dudes. I guess We could start walking this guy forward in the hopes of drawing up an enemy tank to shoot at him. I'm gonna walk him to here and then to here and just set up in the open, and we'll see if they want to do anything about it. Right, like against these guys, infantry is actually meaningful. This is very unusual, but like infantry being meaningful is always kind of a pipe dream because mortars and, you know, there's 10,000 ways to make infantry just die at no cost. Yeah, and then we just get to shoot guys, and it sort of... Nothing about any of this matters, even a tiny little bit. I guess I want to be shooting at you instead. To make life a little bit easier for my infantry. But yeah, as long as this guy's here doing this thing, we can't actually push forward. Yeah, even in the trees, I'm not safe. And we know their stuff's going to be right here, right? Because of the way they positioned. I suppose one thing I can do is I could try to bring... Yeah, I suspect we're not going to see another helicopter. Let's have a couple of these units go up around top here. I saw that. Alright, we'll deal with that in a second. So you're probably... You're just as good here as anywhere else, I suppose. Yeah, this is fine. I'm going to see if we can maybe get a Sheridan around to here and fire at their SAMs from across the river. Because I don't know like what else we could do here that would be meaningful. Okay, well, I mean, obviously we're going to handle that. We may get to find out whether you need to succeed at the mission in order to pull the bonus puzzle. So this is the only enemy over here that matters. I mean, we're going to get to kill a huge amount of infantry here, like very, very easily, and it's going to matter not even one tiny little bit, I think. The only infantry that are kind of important are the ones that can shoot tanks. And even then, they are only kind of important. Alright, you get to shoot this guy, you get to shoot this guy, you get to shoot this guy. You get to shoot this guy. Hooray! That is a tank. I suppose I gotta be a little cautious here. If we move to here, that definitely baits him forward. The thing is, I don't really want to change the equilibrium of the situation at all right now, because these guys are about to be in position where this guy has to move, and then that can really change the math up here. So I think we're just not going to roll the APC forward for the moment. Alright, that's our TIS 330. Hopefully, even if we lose. Do I actually want you guys to move forward? I mean, I guess so. I'm not going to. There's no reason not to wait. Right? Like, this is not a battle that's happening at a very high speed. We can afford to be patient. Okay, and then you do have to run. And then... Unfortunately, we cannot safely leave the trees. But now that this guy's down here... Nope, you can still see actually everything. Like, absolutely everything. We can move a Sheridan up to here, though, which is definitely interesting. And now we have control of this center area. This one moves forward slightly. And now we can do this, and if this guy comes forward to fight... no, never mind. If he comes forward to fight, he has cover and he wins. But if we move to right here... We're probably okay. We're probably okay. So one of you shoots this truck, and I don't think it matters who. You get to move to there. I mean, listen, if we just box these guys up, and then we find a way to shoot at SAM sites from across the river, that would be good enough. If we can make them afraid to come forward. I can roll through to, like, here. And maybe should. This makes it really... I'm going to do this. This makes it really awkward for them to approach. We are slowly taking control of more space. And the question is, do I want to move this guy... Yeah, I think so. Let's move forward into these trees. I think these guys are also moving forward into those trees. And we can maybe get close enough to be a little bit of a threat. I mean, a huge amount of this is dependent, right, on them basically flubbing their positioning over and over again. But they might. They might give us that. Okay, that's a shame. And see, this is one of those times when we're firing across the corner of an obstructed hex, but we've definitely seen that work before. It's never clear why the lines of sight work, or rather, mostly do not work the way they do. Alright, so I am disinclined to kill these dudes. I think we're going to move you this way. If we kill these guys, I think these guys are just going to move up. If we don't kill them, I think there's a chance they just stay put. They're afraid to walk out of cover. So there's no way to move forward on this dude. You have a chance to roll 2 damage. Yeah, I think we're gonna get a little aggressive here because we got to do something. Otherwise, we're gonna, lose. Of course. All right. Well, that's probably the map right there. Honestly. Yeah, he's not gonna shoot me. I'm just gonna sit still and take a point off. Hope to take a point off. And then, if you move forward to here, you can be shot. I'm going to do this, though. Can't get us both. Let's see what they do with that. And then, do we want to just press across the river? Yeah, like if I do this, all of a sudden it's very difficult for this guy to just stand and fight. Let's see what happens. Because if we can get this river sight line up, it might solve the level for us. Interesting. So they're just going to leave these guys alive. Okay, we got some hope here. Okay, that's... you just got to roll top half of the damage at all times, always. We do get to do this. That's lovely. And then... we have a 50% chance of getting a kill here, and if we don't get it, they have a much higher chance of getting a kill on their turn. But at the same time, like, our options are dwindling. Right now, this guy's not a threat, so maybe we just move through. Wait until we're in a position where we can attack him with both the Sheridans on the same turn. Because that is a thing that we theoretically should be able to put together. I'm going to have this guy disappear behind the trees. And I'm going to hope that he'll forget, basically. He can't... They don't see the 2 Sheridans anymore, and hopefully that'll be enough. You just can't quite make it to where you need to be able to shoot guys. So, I mean, there's no reason for us not to shoot guys. And then... this thing probably ought to just move somewhere else, then? I guess I'd be willing to potentially trade it for that anti-armor team. I'll keep him over here for the moment. Let's see if this tank gets dumb because it lost sight of one of the Sheridans. That's, I think, a significant hope of mine. it did get a little dumb. Okay, interesting. So we have really good damage on these guys. You get to blow him up. And they've repositioned very significantly in a way that I think is actually really interesting. So let's move you to here, so you're pressing them back even further. Now they can't move any further forward than this, and this truck is probably going to have to move. And all of a sudden, things are looking a little bit different for us in terms of our ability to blitz them, right? Because this thing can't really see all that far back. So I think we're going to move one of these Sheridans to here. What about... No, we can never see that space. We have to be here, which is a very unsafe place to be. Because we have to walk into that guy's range. But we could move you to here. Here even works. Yeah, we can move you to here and make it really awkward for that tank to stay there, and then you're still providing me some cover. Actually, you probably want to move back. Right, because we get both of these spaces from here. Yeah, let's do it like that. And then you can come around this way and you're going to forward scout, and we may yet be able to pin them in the corner and take advantage here. Alright, those guys just decided to die rather than do anything, which is, I think, questionable. But I'm not going to complain. Oh! The SAMs are over here. Oh, well, they're half and half, right? That makes sense. So you are keeping people at bay. I mean, we need this vision back. Yeah, it looks to me like they have maybe, they're so scared to walk into range of the Sheridans. Okay, now they're committing, and they're committing hard. And hey, they rolled minimum damage. I feel like we don't see that happen all that often. Whose missiles? I want to use your missiles, because the other guy could potentially do something with them up here. Okay, so we're going to be able to burn these down real fast. I'm a little worried that we're not going to be able to hit all of the stuff over here. So now that we've got these guys backed up a little bit, I'm wondering what the right move is to leave them sort of no ground to go to. There's nothing we can do to threaten these two spaces. But I guess that's fine. There's not... If they want to live in these two spaces, it's okay. I'm actually alright with it. Okay, that was a little fortuitous. Come on, maximum damage. Minimum damage. That's similar. In some ways, that's quite similar. Let's just burn these down real fast, and then we'll test out down here. And we are just out of infantry, and there's not a ton to be done about that. If you were to move, could we make this truck? No, we cannot make that truck. We cannot make that truck danger. All right, it's fine. Whatever. We're just gonna sit still for a second. Alright, we actually do, it looks like, have clean lines of sight on everything over here. How many missiles do we have left? We have 3 missiles in this. I think we've got it. I think we've got them pinned, too afraid to move, and unable to defend themselves. Okay, the animations could maybe a little faster. So, Please don't minimum? Cool. Okay, so then we're guaranteed the kill. We got him. It's over. So you just step out of the way. Can you hit the shot from here? You totally can. Okay, victory. Yeah, the enemy, we managed to create sort of a mirror version of the situation that we are often facing, where there's an area that must be pushed through, and we got the setup bonus there. And it definitely involved a little bit of bad rolling on the enemy's part, or rather, at least, like, when that guy rolled 1 damage on his moving heat round, it didn't have to be bad luck. We just needed him to not get maximum good luck every once in a while, and it did occur.
God damn it, I always forget how much that thing kicks. Feels like I'm being shot out of a cannon every time.
Love it. Lets you know you're alive.
Hell yeah. Just don't want my head to snap off in there.
Where's Ted? He's still with us?
Yeah, my legs are just... I'm fine.
All right, let's keep moving.
Again, very strange designs in a lot of ways. The enemy's front begins to collapse, and with it, their plan to force the US to the negotiating table to resettle their remaining population. With air superiority finally re-established, the combined forces of the US military gear up for a final assault on the enemy, forcing many of them to retreat back to their world. And then, like, we know there's a 3rd chapter, so some stuff beyond that. I don't think we're going to hit this TIS 330 puzzle in this episode. We're already well over the hour. This is where we're going to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, tomorrow, I do believe we're completing Chapter 2, and then I'm actually very curious to see where the story's going to go from here. And we'll see you then.